What would you say like the biggest differences are between the US and Germany in terms of the culture? Like you mentioned that people are like a little bit more kind of standoffish when it comes to customer service or like talking to strangers. Would you say that's the biggest thing, or is there something else that's like, bigger than that?
It's one of them. It's also the rule following. I feel like things are much more flexible in the US. Like here, they're very much about you got to do things. I mean, I'll tell you. I think this is like the perfect example. Like I once, like I was just jumping in a McDonald's to grab something and jump back out. So I was like 2 minutes. And the nearest pole, I just saw it, locked my bike to it, and a homeless man sleeping on the side of the street, a German homeless man, pointed to the sign and told me, you can't lock your bike to that pole. And it's like, that is the perfect example of like, come on, like, you know what I mean? It's a free poll. I'm back in 2 minutes, but yeah, I think like sometimes the rule following kind of sucks the fun out of certain things.
I like the rules, man. We live in a society. You don't ride your bike on a sidewalk. Use the bike lane. That's what it's for.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying about following. I'm just saying like Germans take it to an extreme, a point where it's like there's some flexibility in everything, and this is the classic one that we've talked about a million times, but Germans do this thing where they just refuse to walk across the street if it's not green, even if it's 3 a.m. in the morning and you can look both directions for 10 miles and see there's no cars coming, they will stand there and they'll give you mean looks if you cross. See, that's what I mean by you got to have some flexibility, because there's always, there's certain times where you got to just let it go, and they just don't, and it kind of bothers me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like to a certain point, it becomes arbitrary, right?
Right.
Like it's just rule following, just for the sake of rule following, not for safety, just for rules.
Yeah. And I think that's it. They enjoy the rule enforcement. They don't care about the rule. Like, and you see some stuff like that where it's like, if I'm standing too close to the edge of the bond, there'll be an old woman like, get away from there. You're supposed to be at least 1 meter away from the edge. And it's like, you know what? If I'm gonna fall, let me fall. Like, leave me alone. Like, I know how to stand. Like, I have balance. Like, it's like that kind of thing.
That's less in Berlin though. It's more in other areas in Germany. It's like
right.
Berlin's pretty. I mean, it's still Germany,
right.
but it's way more lax than I think other places. Of course, for anyone watching as well, like we speak of these things. Like, obviously, no country is a monolith. No Germans are all the same. Everyone's different, but generally, they do like the rules.
They do like the rules.
I'm into the rules now too. I think rules are nice.
You're German now.
Hey man, we live in a society. We all got to work together to make sure that we uphold the society. And if you take out a little brick that's gonna crumble down.
I agree, but when you're taking like pleasure out of just enforcing an arbitrary rule that doesn't affect you
fair.
at all,
Fair.
then look, come on.
Well, and it's hard when you come from a different country too, and you don't know the rules. Like I got so many like death stares from people for like riding my bike on one lane when I should have been in another one. Or I put my feet up on a train, like on the seat across from me on the train. God forbid. And
no, don't do that.
The attendant there like lost her mind on me. It was like yelling at me and stuff. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't know. So yeah, a little bit of patience would be nice. But yeah, I get it. They have a system and they want it to run, a well-oiled machine that they want to keep running. I get it.
Well, they say that.
Right.
Hey, I was trying to be positive, Alex. I was really trying.
Lately, it's getting less and less. But
like I think that's the biggest like German exported lie is the efficiency of Germans, because
it used to be that way. It's just not so much anymore.
The trains are not on time. The bureaucracy is stuck in the 80s.
Slow. Like I think they just finally got rid of fax machines at like the immigration office and stuff like the past 2 years. Like
they sent me an email the other day for like the first. I was super excited.
Yeah, like basically. Because Germany is this, I mean, it's the biggest economy in Europe. It's supposed to be like this powerhouse. And in terms of technology, honestly, they're finally at a point where like Canada and the US were 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Like they're actually oddly behind in terms of technology, and we're doing a lot of things still paper and stuff. And they're just now the past 3 or 4 years, but mostly because
trying to update,
because of COVID, not because they were wanted to, just because they were like, okay, safety, whatever.
And Germans like the traditions, I think. I think change is, I mean,
it's hard.
You think change of the history, I think, of the country as well. And I think change can be scary. If something works one way, let's just keep it that way for now, because this country's been through a lot of different changes. So I don't know. I think there might be something in the back of the psyche of like, let's just chill on that, because it works. It might not be efficient, but it works.
But it's not efficient.
But it's not. But I mean, it used to be when it was like 30 million less people here, maybe.
Right. Yeah, but when it takes 3 months to like send in an application, get a response. Also, like, is that efficient?
All right, perfect example. When I went to the States in August, my wallet got stolen in the airport in a security line.
In Berlin, right?
In Berlin.
Yeah.
Cops are useless. Security is useless. I don't understand how something gets stolen in a security line, but it did. Well, my visa, like my Alpha Testitos, my visa to stay in the country was in my wallet. So I emailed them that day to get my new visa, and I just got my new card yesterday, 6 months later.
Yeah.
And I had to go twice to the immigration office, once to give my police report and tell them what happened, and yesterday just to pick it up. They couldn't mail it to me. I had to go physically there to pick it up.
So there's a German efficiency right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
6 months for a piece of plastic.
No.
Like when I was in Germany, it did give me the vibe that like I was going back in time to a certain degree. Like like paying with cash was a big thing. Like you guys have said that that's kind of changed in more recent
Slowly
times.
changing, yeah.
But that was weird for me. Like in Canada, like you don't pay with cash. Like it's all card.
Yeah.
And we pay with like everyone's got tap as well, which I think we have more tap than in the States as well, because when I go there, I also find that there isn't a lot of tap. But maybe it's just the place that I'm going to, like where they have to, like in the US, they have to take your card sometimes to the back where the machine is. Like we don't have that in Canada. That's like that gives us anxiety. It's like, where are you going with my MasterCard? Yeah. But here we just like tap everything. And so then going to Germany, where it's like, it's not my first language. And now we got to like be making change. And I gotta decipher, okay, this costs this much money, and I want to give maybe a certain percentage of tip. So now I have to do the mental calculation of how much I should ask for back to give a 10%. It's like, oh my God, this is too hard. Like, can we just have a machine? I can just put in 5% or 10%, tap it, and then I can go home. Like, it would be so much easier.
Luckily, because they're a little late to the game, now all the card machines are taps. Like I use my phone. I don't use my card at all anymore. I just, always just Apple Pay, beep, 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 beep for everything.
Yeah.
So that's been nice. That's been nice.
Yeah, it's slowly getting there. But yeah, even a few years ago, I remember me and my wife, like we were on vacation, like in northern Germany, and like we usually don't, but we were like, oh, for once, let's go to like a fancy restaurant. So we went to the place, and had a nice little romantic dinner. And so it's like, it's a place where like your average customer is spending like, 40, 50 euro per person probably, right? But the bill comes and I give him my card and he's like, oh no, cash only. And I'm like, you expect people to carry around this much cash? And it was like dead of winter, and I had to walk around for 20 minutes, like in 0-degree temperatures, looking for an ATM. It's like it was pretty insane. And I think I can only speak for Berlin, because maybe this progression to card is I don't know. What are you looking at?
So someone's looking at a fire outside.
Oh, excuse me. Oh, that might be my neighbor.
Can you do that?
No.
Oh, hey, that's illegal.
Hey, follow the rules, Germans. Follow the rules.
This is Berlin. This is Berlin. This makes a lot of sense.
I think it's a barbecue, though.
Alert the authorities. I don't know if he has the right permit for that.
I don't think he does.
Again, like I have like I had a Thai barbecue about this big, right? And me and my wife were like, yeah, let's like in summer, like it's beautiful weather, let's just cook something in the backyard. That lasted like all of a week until one of our neighbors came and was like, no, you can't do that anymore. It was like, yeah. And the rule is in Germany, you can barbecue not in your apartment, but like on your balcony or whatever, until a neighbor complains, and then it's shut down.
Or only if you're on a top floor, because of smoking, because there's no AC, so people have the windows open and people's getting smoke in their apartments. So I understand that rule. It makes sense.
But then I got electric grill, and I was like, try to shut this down.
Electric grill, you're good.
Yeah, I was like, shut this down, baby. Yeah.
There you go. Loophole.
Yeah. But not as cool as a fire grill.
Yeah. But it is a lot of buzz killing, I think, in Germany. We're like having fun with the barbecue, and it's like, oh, there goes that. Okay.
But then at the same time, unlike in the States, or I think also in Canada too, you can have a beer in public and no one's gonna get mad at you. You go to the park and drink some beers or walking down the street, which is like, I don't understand why that's not legal everywhere. You're not hurting anyone. You're just having a little beer because it's delicious and it's hot outside and it tastes good.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's something that we're missing here. I think we definitely need that.
Yeah. It's nice. And then also people aren't like, going to a bar to drink as much as they can and then get smashed and then go outside. We're like here, go to a bar, have one or two, maybe go outside, and then one on the walk. And then, you're at the park now. And it's just, I don't know, it's definitely a feeling of freedom, which I think is the ultimate reason why I love the city, is that feeling of freedom. Yeah.
Yeah. It hurts going back to the U.S. when we're walking, and then my wife's like, yeah, let's grab a beer for the walk.
I can't.
And then I'm like, oh, damn it.
And I know it's funny because we talk about all these rules, but at the end of the day, why I love living here is I think the rules make sense.
It's because Alex is alcoholic, so he really likes the beer.
Because I think there are a lot of rules, but the rules are for things that like there should be rules for.
Well,
and for
half the time maybe.
I think for the most part.
Yeah.
And then for the things that shouldn't have a rule, like why can't I have a beer on the street? There's no rule for that, which makes sense in my opinion.
Yeah, it is kind of an interesting combination where it's like there's lots of rules, and then at the same time, in some ways there are less rules depending on what the thing is.
Right.
Alcohol, okay, less rules. Barbecues, we got to crack down.